Good morning and welcome to Car in a Question. My name's Dustin Keller and we're here at Excite Auto Repair and Towing, and today we are talking about towing. Does anybody know what this is? All right, well if you don't, that's probably a good thing because you haven't been towed recently and you maybe don't own a European vehicle. So this BMW right here, 2021 BMW 4 Series, everybody wants the vehicle flatbedded all the time. In our personal opinion, flatbed is not always the best option when towing a BMW or a Mercedes or an all-wheel drive vehicle. Reason number one is this thing right here. This is an eyelet, and this is what the manufacturer suggests that you use to tow this vehicle, okay? Which it can be done, and you have to pop out this little eyelet here. You have to retrieve this from where your spare tire is sometimes stored or in the trunk, and then you screw it into the front bumper reinforcement. Okay, nowadays a lot of cars are made out of aluminum. Aluminum is known as a very soft metal, and when you're dragging a vehicle that may or may not go into neutral or pulling a vehicle that may or may not go into neutral, you're talking about pulling 2,000 plus pounds up onto a flatbed at a very low angle. So what we're going to show you is we're going to roll this flatbed back and show you how much clearance there actually is. Give us 1 minute to roll the truck back. All right, so now that we got the rollback rolled back and underneath the vehicle, you can see how much clearance that you have with this vehicle, okay? A lot of companies that don't know what they're doing may use just a hard winch cable or something called a J-hook or a bridle situation like this. If you take this vehicle or this chain and you run that underneath this front bumper, guess what could happen? Damage. Okay, that's why we use soft straps here at Excite. All right, now we're going to show you a wheel lift and dolly setup. So when you're requesting a tow and everybody wants to say flatbed and they say we don't have a flatbed, or actually we would suggest using a wheel lift truck or a wheel lift and dolly setup, this is what we are going to show you now. If you look at the clearance on this BMW and the clearance on this wheel lift, we're going to show you how it loads the car and how we can get under there just as safely and more effectively than a rollback. All right, John. So my point here is what you see with the wheel lift setup is the vehicle, the boom slides underneath the vehicle with actually more clearance than the rollback did. Also, there's no straps or chains required to be hooked up underneath the vehicle at all. And these bars slide underneath, wrap the tire, and lift the vehicle with the tire and the wheel. So all the vehicle's weight is supported by the wheel, tire, and suspension like you would normally be driving on the road. The next thing we're about to show you is what dollies can do. So this is actually a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So you could definitely tow this vehicle from the rear with the front wheels on the ground. And we will demonstrate that after we show you how you could tow the vehicle if you had to hook it from the front. And if you have the front wheels off the ground and the rear wheels off the ground, you don't even need a key to tow this vehicle, and we're going to show you how. Set me up some dollies, John. Alrighty, so as you can see here, we got the wheel lift and dolly set up. So we got the wheel lift under the front tires, tire is strapped. We've got a dolly set up under the rear. So as you've seen John, he slid 2 dolly bars under both front and rear of the tire, set those into the dolly, and then lifted the tire completely off the ground. So what we got going on right now is the entire vehicle is off of the ground. And we are not pulling, winching, or prying on anything. We are using the tires and the suspension to carry the weight of the vehicle, and we've got plenty of clearance under the front bumper that we are not going to cause any damage. So this is what we recommend actually for electronic vehicles. All new EV vehicles should be towed like this, and any European vehicles should be towed like this. This is the safest way to tow your vehicle with no damage. This is my professional opinion, and I'm going to show you a couple more reasons why here in a minute. We're going to get this vehicle up off the ground. We're going to show you where the winch points are and where they are not. Because on a lot of European vehicles, there's a bunch of plastic and coatings and shields underneath the vehicle that make it impossible to actually hook to the vehicle and secure the vehicle. That's why they put the eyelet on the front bumper like we showed you earlier. So here we go. I'm going to just show you how nicely this vehicle rolls forward. Take it away, John. All right, so again, we're talking about a rear-wheel drive versus an all-wheel drive vehicle. This BMW 4 Series happens to be only a two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive vehicle. So what we're demonstrating here is John's going to back up underneath the rear of the vehicle. If you can look here, we strapped the steering wheel so that the wheel stays straight. So when you're talking drivetrain, the rear wheels are the only wheels that need to be off the ground to make it safe to tow this vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and have John do that. The only thing that you got to worry about here is clearance on the front bumper, and John's going to make sure that he doesn't lift the vehicle too high and he watches his angles. But this is completely safe to tow a rear wheel drive or even a front wheel drive vehicle with only the drive tires off the ground. If it's only got 2 sets of drive tires, front or rear, as long as those tires or those wheels are off the ground, it is safe to tow that car. All right, John, show us what you can do. And as you can see, if you're looking at the front of that vehicle right now, that front end of the car is not really any lower to the ground than it is when it's normally driving. So this is absolutely an acceptable way to tow a rear-wheel drive European vehicle or any other two-wheel drive vehicle. All right, so what I'm trying to demonstrate to you at the moment is this is the BMW that we just demonstrated how to tow and told you how not to tow. What I want you to see here is the bottom of this vehicle. So you can see these shields that are all the way here. So if you're trying to winch or strap a vehicle down, there's no good way outside of the wheels to really strap this vehicle down. And also what I wanted to show you is, if you look at a rear-wheel drive vehicle, this right here is your rear differential. And you can see here you got an axle on both sides of the rear differential that go to your wheels. This assembly is not in the front of this vehicle because it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle. That is why this vehicle is acceptable to be towed from the rear. So using a wheel lift and dolly setup or just a wheel lift, again, safe to tow this vehicle. Now if you want to come up here real quick and look at the front wheels where you see the axle in the rear, and you look up here in the front of this wheel and hub assembly, there is no axle. Also, there is no front differential. This is why these tires actually free roll. If these wheels were not sitting on this 4-post rack, I could spin these tires freely. And that's why you can tow it from the rear. What I'm going to show you now is this is a Mitsubishi Outlander, and this is a 4-wheel drive vehicle. I'm going to show you what the drivetrain looks like on a 4-wheel drive vehicle. There's a differential in the rear and in the front. There's axles in the rear and there's axles in the front. I'm going to show you this. So if you're looking at the front end of this vehicle, you can see right here this is an axle or a CV axle. This is a boot. This wheel, you can hear the movement and you can see the axle spinning. So it does allow you to spin it, but it is not safe to tow from the front or the rear. All 4 wheels need to be off of the ground. Wheel lift and dolly is safe and is an acceptable way to tow this. Also, a flatbed is a safe way to tow this vehicle, as long as all 4 wheels are off the ground. You can see the axle on this side, so you got 1, 2, and if you come back here, you got axles here, 3, 4, and again, front or rear differential. This is very important to know if you have an all-wheel or front wheel or rear wheel drive vehicle when requesting a tow. And the towing professional should know this as well, and you may want to specify, but a wheel lift and dolly is acceptable. A dolly is the right way and is acceptable way to tow an all-wheel drive or an EV electric vehicle. Thank you for joining us today at Car in a Question. My name is Dustin Keller. Stay safe, stay blessed. So here's another example on how you can use chains to hook a truck. So most trucks that have full body frames have eyelets in the frame itself. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this specific vehicle right here has a spot that's built and is safe to winch from and to strap down and hold a vehicle. This is a full-size van used for commercial work. So if you have a frame that's reinforced and has eyelets already manufactured into it, this is a safe way to strap down and hold down your truck or van.